Hello and welcome to my channel. If you take a look just to my left, you'll get a little bit of a glimpse of what is in store today. This is going to be a tutorial on how to make this ultimate desktop craft organizer. And I have not even come close to loading this with everything that it can hold. It has a drawer unit here, and I've just got a few pens in here. There's plenty of room in there. And then we have these compartments that are tiered, as well as side pockets or compartments that can hold things like journals, notebooks, even my mini inks. Was the brainchild of Kristianne of Kristianne's Crafty Adventures. I'm going to leave a link to her video that shows how to make the organizer, as well as a link to a live in which she decorated one as well with her audience. Those will be very good for you to see just how different you could make this look depending on the choice of papers, the choice of embellishments. It will be uniquely your own. The only thing that everyone will end up with exactly the same is a practical and generous size desktop craft organizer, and as Kristianne calls it, the ultimate craft organizer. So if you'd like to learn how to make one for yourself or to give as a gift to someone, and why wouldn't you, then stick with me and I'll show you how. 200 GSM cardstock for this in black, and this is from Linda Chapman's World of Paper, but any card would work, of course. You just need it to be fairly heavy, like I think in the States would be probably about 100 pound, somewhere along there, but this is 200, 210, 220, even up to 300 would be all right. Already cut all the pieces. There are quite a few, and I'm going to go ahead and score all of these first. So I'll talk you through the measurements and the scoring. The first is the base unit. All right, this is going to essentially support all the other pieces, as well as serve as the compartment for the drawer unit. This requires a 12 by 12 piece, and we're going to score it at 2 inches. Oops. 2 inches and at 10 inches. Then you're going to turn it. This time score it at 5 inches. Then just turn it round. Makes it much easier to do it this way. And score it again at 5 inches. You could, of course, scored it at 7 if you wanted to, because this is leaving a 2-inch spine here. So that is A. The second part of A is the drawer, and this is 12 inches by 11 5/8. On this shorter side, at 11 5/8, you want to score it at 1 7/8 on both ends. So we're going to come up here to 7/8. So on our scoreboard, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn it. and scored again at 1 7/8. I'll turn it to the 12-inch side, the long side, scored at 1.5 inches and at 3.5 inches. And like we did before, just turn it round and score it again at 1.5 inches and 3.5 inches. So you see here, these are our reinforcement pieces that are going to fold in, and then these are the 2-inch sides, and then our base unit, our drawer bottom there. Those are all the pieces for A. For B, we need a 12 by 12 piece, and for this, you're going to score it 2 inches on both ends. So again, 2 inches. Could score it 10, of course. Just do it like that. That's fine. And then you want to turn it and score it at 2 inches and 5 inches on both ends. So 2 inches, 5 inches, turn it and score it again at 2 inches and at 5 inches. That's B. Next is C. This is cut at 10 inches by 11 inches. On the 10-inch side, the shortest side, score at 1 inch on both ends. So 1 inch. Of course, you could just come over here and score 9. Or you could have turned it and done your 1 inch again. On the longer side, the 11-inch side, scored at 1 inch and at 5 inches. Put that there for you to see, hopefully. So 1 inch, 5 inches. Turn it round and do that again. 1 inch and 5 inches. So you'll have a 1 inch spine here. The tallest of the units is D. And this is a piece that is 12 inches by 11.5 inches. So on the 11.5 inch side, scored at 1 3/4 inches on both ends. So 1 3/4. Turn it and score it again at 1 3/4. Then turn it to the 12-inch side and score it at 5 1/8, which is here. Turn it and do the same measurement again. So 5 1/8. Okay, so see, that is your scoring for that. The last two, which are more or less optional, you can have them or not have them. You can attach them or not attach them. But these are going to be the ones that we'll have at the end. They're almost like a magazine style. So it comes in 2 parts, and we have 2 of these, one for either side, or we could just have one if you wanted. And these are cut at 11 3/4 by 9 inches. Okay. On the 9-inch side, scored at 7 1/4. Then turn it and score it on the 11 3/4 inch side at 2 inches, at 5 inches, turn it, and score it again at 2 inches and at 5 inches. And then you're going to do the same on the other. For the other piece, which actually becomes the front part of this holder, you need a piece, or you need 2 pieces actually, that are cut at 4.5 by 2 3/4. And on the 4.5, or on the shortest side, the 2 3/4 inch side, score at 1/2 inch on both ends, and those are going to form the tabs, the glue tabs. And then on the long side, score it at 1/2 inch, and that's your other glue tab. And then you'll just repeat that on the other pieces. With these measurements again, so you have a chance to take note. And then for the other pieces, C, D, and then E. So this one is 4.5 by 2 3/4 for the front piece, 11 3/4 by 9 for the main unit. We're going to start the assembly of the base unit, and we're going to fold and burnish the score lines, and then we'll cut our tabs. So we have these 2-inch sections like that, so 2 inches high on all 3 sides. And then we'll have our drawer unit, of course. Now for the tabs, you want to cut up these 2 score lines here, like that, and like that. And then you also want to take a small wedge out of them, just to make it easier for them to close up and remove some of that bulk. So just take an angle cut there, like that, and do the same on this side. Turn it over, the other side, or turn it round, I guess I should say, and do the same. So cut up those score lines, and it also will help to remove those so that you don't have those little bumps in there. And that's all the cutting that you need to do on that. I'm going to fold these in, so I'm going to just garnish those once more to get them nice and sharp. And then I'm going to fold it like this, so that you have your tabs on the inside, and then you'll have your base unit like that. So you want to apply your adhesive first to the tab, bring one end in, and then bring the other up and in place. And I'm going to do a combination of both double-sided tape and glue. Made life a lot easier for myself if I had applied this while it was still flat. I think I can struggle through. Just like that. And I want these sort of raw edges here, these joins, to be in the same direction. So I want to bring this one up first and then I'll do the other. And also I want to be sure I get it squared up as much as possible as well. Now I can go in and press that down from the inside, and then I can just do this last little flap. Is the first part of A complete. So that's the base, and now we're going to make the drawer that's going to go into this. The drawer unit is the 12 by 11 and 5/8 inch piece, and it also has reinforcements on the sides. So we're going to fold and burnish these. For the drawer, you're going to form your tabs like this. You're going to cut right past that score line here and up to this second one. Then you're going to do the same on this side, on this side, and on this side. So I'm just going to cut up that score line there, like that. And then we can make our little wedges here with these tabs. And again, that's going to help take out that little bump there from the score line, like that. And then you're going to do it on the other three sides as well. Going to glue your tabs in first. Now, if you wanted to, you could cut this little end off here, but I'm just going to leave it because it will help to add a little bit of strength to that side as we fold it in. So I'm just going to apply my adhesive the whole of that tab and that one as well. And again, I'm going back to using both the tape those have been squared off. And the last part of this one is to fold in these reinforcements, and of course we're going to do it on the other side. This is going to really add to the strength of it, because it is going to be pulled in and out, hopefully, quite a bit. Now to B. Again, we're going to make our tabs here, and there will be a tab here. And we're going to remove each of these squares on the corners. The easiest way to form this would be to go ahead and start your angle cut here. Go up to that score line, like so. Come on this side of that square and make your other angle cut. So you have that effect like that. You could, of course, just go ahead and cut the square off and then go back and cut the angles. So it really doesn't matter. You also want to come up these score lines, these two here, and cut your tabs. And the final one, again, can come in like so, and then again here. So it looks like that. C is the 10 by 11 inch piece. I'm going to fold and burnish these score lines, and it is going to be cut in a similar fashion to the last one. D is next. That is a 12 by 11.5 inch piece. Fold and burnish, of course. Notice that this one does not have a reinforcement because it's using the full 12 inch width. So you would have to have cardstock that's even larger than that in order to fold it over. So we're just going to leave this as it is, just like we had with the base. So it's going to get cut the same again. We're just going to cut these tabs here. Up those score lines, and then cut like so, forming a little tab. And then do that on the other side. We could put these together now and then we can attach the others. So I think that's what we'll do first. I'm going to start with this piece first and fold and burnish those score lines. This will be attached to the front of this compartment. So we have this so far. We want to make a tab out of this. So just come in like that, and you can take your square off, and again like so. We have this 2-inch score line here. Only going to burnish along the middle score line. So count in 1, 2, burnish that, and then you have the next one, and then you'll just skip those last two. This, you're going to start with your tab here, and you're going to attach it here, this end, and what you'll do is you'll match up the tab right between those score lines there, like that. I'm going to put some tape and some glue down for this. Go across here like so. This is going to form the front portion of this piece. So again, just fold up the sides and line it up at the bottom down there, and that should be right between those two score lines, or score line and the cut line I should say. So give it a nice burnish there. These I'm going to score along here now, or I should say burnish along there. These, this tab is going to go onto the inside, and then this is going to come up and then be glued down by these side tabs. So let's get this one down next. Have the first of our two nearly finished, but there is one more thing to do, and that is to make the cut for the angle. And what you'll do for that is just to come from this point here where this score line is down to the top of this. If you want to cut from there to there or there to there, we can do this. Alright, we're just going to cut it right down to there, and now we have a template for the other side. You can just butt that up against there. These are ready. Now, you can reinforce the bottoms of these, and all you would need to do is get the measurements for your bottom and then just cut another piece to place down inside, and usually something like grey board or chipboard or even cardboard, like this, perhaps from a cereal packet, and that would give that a little extra strength in the bottom. Now to reinforce this section here, because remember this was a 12 by 12 sheet, and in order to have these reinforcements like we had on this drawer, you would have had to have a much bigger sheet than a 12 by 12. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, piece some of it together and make yourself a larger piece, but here's another solution. And I'm going to put this piece of card on top. All this is the same white cardstock that I use for making card blanks. Cover this organizer, I've chosen this cardstock, and it's taken from this old paper pad by Centaura, and it's an A4 premium paper pad, and it is 200 GSM. So for this drawer front, I've cut a piece that measures 1 3/4 by 7 5/8, so that will fit right on there, and just leave a little bit of that black border, so it makes a nice little frame to it. And then of course we will be putting a pool in here as well. I'm going to get this glued in place. Drawer will slide into the casing, and as I said, we'll put a little pool on there as well. And we have that reinforced bit now. 3 other pieces graduate in height like that. If you want to look at them from sort of the side, they are going to fit on top of the base, and then they'll also be glued one to the other. So that means when you're decorating these, you don't need to go any higher than what will actually be showing. So you don't have to cover this whole piece. So this would work really well for your scraps. This measures 3 inches by nearly 8 inches. Yes, 8 inches. 3 by 8. So that means I'm going to cut a piece of the decorative paper to 2 3/4 by 7 3/4. And there's my piece cut at 2 3/4 by 7 3/4, and that is going to leave that little hint of black around. So I'm going to get this one stuck down, and then we'll move on to the next one, which is going to be C. only has a small amount that will actually show. So what I'll do is I'm going to line these up so they're flush with one another. I'm just going to take my pencil and mark there what is actually showing. That is approximately 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is bring my paper down to between 1 1/4 and 1 1/2. So I think I'll just go to 1 1/2, or I'll look at my offcuts and see what I've got. And then, of course, the length is the 8 inches. So 1 1/4 to 1 1/2, somewhere around there. So between 1 1/4 and 1 1/2 inches wide by 7 3/4 inches long. Here's my piece, and I had enough for a 1 1/2 by 7 3/4 inch piece. And that is going to go here onto the front, and we'll also leave just that little bit of border there. Final box in this stack, and that is D. This one 1/2 by 7 3/4. That is going to be placed here, like we did with the other, leaving that little bit of black border showing. The last of these. So now it's time to assemble our organizer, at least the main portion of it. And then if you want to continue on with the other side pieces, we'll do that after we finish this. So these are going to get glued in this order. You're going to have your first one. This is your B. Then your C, and finally your D. So now you can see, hopefully, how that is coming together. So what we want to do is get this glued down to this top piece. Then we will glue these two together along with this piece. This will be glued here, and then finally that third piece. So I'm going to remove the drawer unit to begin with. I'm going to start working on these side bits then. And this front measures 4 inches by 1 3/4. So I'm going to cut a piece that is 3 3/4 by 1 1/2. That is attached now. I'm going to bring in some more of these clips and place them Now that I'm going to attach my pieces to the sides like that, so they're going to be glued onto these sides. I only need to decorate the outside. You have enough of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this side here. The pattern is going to go. I'm going to just lay it down on here, and I'm going to just trace around it to get the shape. And then when I go to cut, I'm going to actually come in from where this line is. So I'll come inside of these marked lines. So I want to, actually what you could do is, as with these pieces, they are 1/8 of an inch on both sides. So you could mark this at 1/8 of an inch, come in at 1/8 of an inch, this organizer, I discovered that I had some of this 400 GSM black cardstock, which I've never used. So I guess I've been looking for the right project for this, and as you can see, it's nearly a perfect fit to the back of this. Right, the back of this. Remember I said that Kristianne had, I think in one she had like a fairy castle, and another she had Mickey Mouse ears. And I'm going to use something a little less cutesy, but nonetheless, I think it's going to look very nice. I've got these pieces, and what I've done with this is I had just took a couple of offcuts that I had, one from the main cardstock, and then a strip of the black that was cut off from one of the other pieces. And I'm going to attach this to the back here. And this time I am going to turn it up so that the pull, I found this very large brad, which can just poke right through there. I'm going to that might be a little better. You can see the top. And here, those side bits as well. A few crafty bits, just to give you an idea of what this will hold. Depending on how you do decide to decorate it, each and every one is going to look completely different, and it can be uniquely your own. The one thing that everyone will end up with, though, is a very practical, a very generous size craft desktop organizer. And to give you an idea as to the size of this, if you have the two ends here, then you're looking at 11.5 inches wide, and it will be approximately 5 inches in depth, and height almost almost 7 inches, just perhaps 6 7/8 to 7 inches, somewhere around that mark. You have the depth here. This one would be about 4.5. I've got this 1/2 inch here, and this is coming up at 4 3/4. And this one is also nearly 5 inches, so 4 3/4. And then finally on the bottom we have 3, so it's 3 3/4, so 3.5, about 3.5. And then across here we've got nearly 8 inches. Actually, that's actually dead on 8 inches right there. So that gives you an idea as to the size of this ultimate desktop organizer. So much for coming today and watching this video tutorial. If you're already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. And if not, you can still do that today. I also love hearing from you and reading your comments. I very much appreciate them. So in this video, I'd like to know if you're going to make the ultimate craft organizer yourself, maybe for yourself or for someone else. And how will you decorate yours? You can share this video with others by hitting the share button below, and I hope to see you again very soon. In the meantime, as always, please stay safe and crafty hugs. Bye.